It's good.
Lead independent Matt Neal will be hoping for some clear air in this afternoon's feature race after all the events of race 1. And he's in a great position to get it because just look where he is. He's actually on the front row of the grid. Now remember, Matt was the first independent ever to win a round of the British Touring Car Championship. He did it last year at Donington. Now he's not going to win this afternoon if this guy's got anything to do with it. Tom Christensen in the Honda. Great performance from Tom, his first pole in the BTCC. Now, have to put my hand up at this time and say they did get a little bit lucky because the original pole sitter was none other than Alain Menu. But he and his teammate Ricard Rydell, they've been slung out, kicked up the back of the field for a technical infringement. I tell you what, Waddy, it's going to be a race in itself watching those two come through the field.
The delights all Tom Christensen's his first pole position of the year and also the first front row for Matt Neal in the lead independent Nissan. Anthony Reid's a little bit happier in row 2 even though he's still got those 40 kilograms on board alongside Jason Plato in the first of the Vauxhalls. James Thompson and Vincent Rademacher on row 3. The third of the Vauxhalls with Ivan Muller and Tarquini in row 4. Colin Blair in his independent Nissan and lead Class B James Kay in his Honda Accord. Morrison and Collar row 6, Norden and Lemmer make up row 7. And finally, on row 8, with their now legal front wings, Menu and Rydell.
Revs are up, ready for a start, and Christensen creeping a bit, and he's away. Nice start from him. Anthony Reid away well too. And watch for those Fords flying through the field. Remember, there are 2 of them up the back, and there's 1 of them up the front, holding up everybody. And look, that's Matt Neal and Jason Plato. Jason, well, you want some, son? You're going to have some back. Plato and Matt Neal just swapping paint with each other into the first corner, down the Cascades. There is Matt Neal, Plato right behind him. That's James Thompson sliding just underneath Ivan Muller. Getting the power on down to the back of the circuit now, streaming down the hairpin for the first time. Let's hope we get through here cleanly. Here's where we had trouble in race 1. There's Ivan Muller. James Thompson just sliding through the inside. Muller thinks to himself, not in your life, son. I'm not going to get hit twice in 2 races in this corner. But Christensen clearly in the lead. Great start from him.
And what a difference a grid position makes. Christensen just cleared away. Matt Neal, of course, drops 1 place to Anthony Reid, but remember, he's still an independent, privately owned, family-run car.
Thompson through the chicane and a lovely sideways manoeuvre there from Ivan Muller. Look at where those Fords are as well, already up to the back of Tarquini.
Very impressive from Menu and Rydell, but they're on a mission. And that mission is to get as far up as soon as possible, then use the pit stops to give themselves track position, and hopefully get into one of the top 3 positions.
Jason Plato in the red Vauxhall behind Matt Neal in the red Nissan. Now we're on board with Gabriele Tarquini, and that is a Ford slipping underneath us. Very, very wide there into Lodge.
Yes, maybe just over braking into Lodge, but it allowed Menu to slide through. And the body language of the car, that says one thing to me, that's purpose. He wants those positions now. And look, Rydell goes through as well.
Well, we talked to Gabriele before about getting through at Lodge, but it was actually passing, not being passed. Maybe a problem for the spirited Italian. He doesn't usually give up positions that easily. And don't believe it again. Morrison failed again. Exactly the same place on the track, Waddy.
Yes, it is. Big disappointment.
And Muller! Oh, that felt so good, he thinks to himself. Someone got me in the backside in the first race. I'll see how it feels. Headbutting James Thompson out of the way on the hairpin.
And Frenchman Ivan Muller said, no, it wasn't my fault. He backed into me. As Class B leader Alan Morrison for the 2nd time this afternoon retires. One would suspect, the same as the first time, a gearbox problem.
It's a fast car, but it's proving frail.
It's a disappointment because that car ought to be leading the championship by a comfortable margin, and just small issues have taken it out, and Alan's shunter brands didn't help either.
Well, this isn't a comfortable margin at all. This is Muller's margin over James Thompson, and Thompson is very much still in touch with him. Over through Dealey. One of the Vauxhalls in already, and that is Muller.
Very early stop for the Frenchman in the Vauxhall. Let's see what his rationale is. Car comes to a stop. The front of the car only goes up. Left and right's changed. Let's see the clock, 5.4 seconds. Good job by the Vauxhall team.
Don't know whether that was a scheduled stop or whether he flat spotted his tyres in the Continent he had earlier with James Thompson, but either way, a very early stop. Now here's the second of the Vauxhalls, Jason Plato, which will now be the lead Vauxhall, and he is still very much at play with Matt Neal in the Nissan.
But Jason Plato is the wilier of the 2 in terms of racing. He's the man that will get the job done. But of course he doesn't want to stay behind Matt Neal too long either. Track position.
Getting very close to us now. This is the view back from Matt's car. Jason hunting us. You can see how tight that Knickerbrook chicane is. They go all the way down to second gear, wash off all the speed, and this is the drag back up Clay Hill. Not a lot in it power-wise.
I think the Nissan's got the slight advantage, but Plato really just drives that Vauxhall a little bit harder than Matt Neal does in the Nissan, and that just balances out the difference between the two cars.
Matt dancing around that corner there, the Druids double right-hander, down the back straight into Lodge corner. Nicely covered, moves to the inside to make sure Plato can't get a look. Here's the view from Plato's car, what can he do? Matt moves to cover, this is what he can do, he's pitting.
Yeah, good move from Plato. He decided, I'm not going to get past quickly, I'll dive into the pits, put on my fresh rubber, find clear track position, stops the car now again. Front's only been changed, jacked up, wheels on, clock ticking away, not as quick, well, just about the same time. At the same time, Rickard Rydell comes in. The whole car gets jacked up, front and rear. Looks like it's going to cost them a few tenths of a second, 6.52 against 5.48. Now, I don't think that's because the whole car was jacked up. I think just Vauxhall are doing a great job in the pits at the minute.
Now, the question in with Vauxhall, though, are they actually having their pit stops enforced because of track circumstance, or do you reckon they were actually trying to get out this early in any case?
I think it's really more to get track position. Plato saw he wasn't going to get past Neal that quickly. Muller made the same decision, so let's go in, try and find ourselves a clear bit of track, make up the time that we would have lost if we'd stayed out any longer, and hope that Matt Neal and the rest of the field get it wrong.
Well, there's the third Vauxhall that has not got a clear piece of track at Vincent Rademacher, and he was harrying the back of James Thompson's Honda. That's the man to remember, though, Tom Christensen in yet another Honda. He's our race leader.
Second Honda in, Gabriele Tarquini. Again, the front only being changed. Honda, that high, jacked up position. Honda say it doesn't cost us time. Visually, it looks like it, but 5.64 seconds. Good job from Honda as well.
Rolling down the pit lane. See where that leaves his track position. Big squirm under power as he stands on the gas. Scything through the Class B field, in through Lodge corner, yet to pit. Although he looks like he's about to pit now, he's moved to the inside of the track. Is he? No, he's not. There's Christensen, race leader.
And what an easy afternoon has turned out for Tom Christensen, certainly in the feature race so far. Never been headed, got a clear track ahead of him, can decide when he wants to come in. But he must make it before the end of lap 21 because that's when the pit stop window closes.
On board with Rydell, Tarquini is ahead of us, moving to cover, coming down into Lodge corner. Not covering well enough. Rydell has just slid straight through. A little bit of contact there, but that looked easy.
Tarquini's let a number of cars go through into Lodge corner. Maybe he's just not comfortable with his car there, but it seems so easy for all the other competitors.
Alain Menu rejoins the track. Just ahead of Ivan Muller. Muller's our man in 7th position, on board with him now, down through Cascades. That Ford looks very uncomfortable with cold tyres.
Yeah, when you put brand new tyres in the front of a car, they're stone cold, remember. It's a bit like tramlining, the car really wants to take its own direction.
Well, what's going to happen now? We've got a big right-hand turn. Side by side, that isn't going to work for Muller. Menu just holding on. He's just got to hang on to this until the tyres get warm. Now ready for another Vauxhall pit stop. This is Rademacher.
Vauxhall guys go to work, Honda guys go to work. Let's watch the times. Rademacher there, 4.48. Well, that is absolutely awesome. 5.56 for Thompson. Thompson, of course, was the first of the cars in. Rademacher makes up almost a second, but it's not enough to put him ahead of Thompson in the race.
Blinding stop, though. Rademacher having a great day, and that's got to be the stop of the day. Now Rademacher has moved out right alongside of Van Muller. And Alain Menu, and he's just ahead of Menu. Menu trying to slide down the incline. He does so. Menu slides past Rademacher, down through Cascades. Muller, who was in that battle, slides alongside him as well. Two Vauxhall side by side, one with cold tyres, the other with hot tyres and lots of attitude because he is in a battle with Alain Menu. Rademacher very smoothly lets his teammate through there.
Vincent Rademacher is the number 3 driver of the team, and even Jason Plato gets priority over Vincent Rademacher.
You see what you were saying, though, John. You can see Rademacher's car still twitching.
Yeah, under acceleration, the cars they're scrabbling for grip. One tyre gripping slightly more than the other and just pulls.